All right, then let's go ahead. Thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to be talking about branch networks and how we can impact the profitability of your networks with Unblu branch. Before we start, just a quick information. So all participants will be muted during this session, but please feel free to ask any questions you have during the next 20 minutes. And we'll take a bit of time at the end to provide an answer to those questions. So a little bit about us before we dive into the main topic. We are a software company that is dedicated to providing conversational technology for financial organizations, so retail bank, private banks, and insurances. We're founded in 2008 and based in Switzerland and with offices across the world. We have several products in our portfolio. Today we'll be talking about Unblu branch, but feel free to join in one of our next webinars where we'll be talking about Unblu Spark and the other products. So first off, let's look at the problem we are solving today with Unblu branch, and the main issue that retail banks are seeing today is a decrease in traffic in the physical network. And that usually results in, first of all, decrease in opening hours down to closing the locations. Last year only, we've seen that there has been more than 10,000 branches that closed, even though closing branch usually means loss of market presence and therefore potentially business, because for clients, having a physical branch is still very important. And this is what we want to aim with Unblu branch. We want to increase the profitability of your network, and we'll explain how using our solution, an agent can handle several locations at once. We'll demonstrate as well how you can expand your network. Instead of thinking about reducing it, you can actually expand it. And we'll show also how our solution can bring more flexibility through your sales specialists to make them more available, more productive towards end customers. Now, we're very fortunate on this solution to have a lot of information about one of our lighthouse accounts, which is Valiant Bank. So we're going to take their perspective, we're going to take their project to illustrate a little bit what we've achieved with them so far. Quick word about them. They're Swiss universal bank with a little bit more than 1,000 employees. And today they have 73 branches across Switzerland. 60 of those branches are hybrid ones, and pay attention to the little dots that are in the less dense areas. We'll come back to those afterwards. Now their problem was pretty, their challenge was pretty standard. Over the past 3 years, so between 2014 and 2017, they experienced a decrease in in-person transactions, so about 35%, which compromised the profitability of their network. The initial response was to reduce the opening times to compensate for that decrease in traffic. And by the end of 2016, about 75% of their branches were only open 3 to 4 hours per day. But it was still not enough, and it started to create also tensions with their clients who had trouble actually accessing the branches. So they were at a crossroad where they had to make a decision between closing branches and potentially shrinking as an organization, or completely reinvent the concept of the branch with the key item of keeping those locations open. And this is what they did. They completely reinvented their concept, and it was built around 2 key elements. The first one is the digital reception. So completely dematerialize the reception at the bank and allow agents to greet clients remotely through a digital solution, and also allow agents to manage day-to-day requests through a digital yet still very personal channel. This was the first part. And the second part, which is also quite important, was to maintain as well people in those branches, so maintain advisors, maintain specialists. The aim was to also avoid the negative feeling that a completely empty, unattended branch might trigger for their clients. So you still have people and in the back still have a human presence. But the idea was also to enable video and voice in those new hybrid branches to be available so that specialists could join dedicated consulting meetings more easily and more conveniently. So giving more flexibility and giving them a stronger ability to be in several places during the day. And the results were quite striking. First of all, they managed to balance our profitability and client service. So in terms of branch setup cost, they went from something about 3 million to 500,000. And this was done as they digitize some functions that require some expensive elements. They've also done that by reducing the operating expenses by reaching a ratio of 1 to 7, meaning one agent today is able to handle 7 branches without compromising on the client experience. In return, that has allowed them to go back on the reducing of the opening hours and even go beyond what they initially had. And now branches are open 10 hours per day, so giving clients much more flexibility on when they can actually go in a branch. And the client feedback is overall positive. And they have today about 10 interactions on average per day in each locations. It also helped them drive growth and revenue because, as I was saying earlier, the dots in the less dense areas are actually locations where they were not before with the old concept. Because the new concept is profitable enough, they were able to expand into new locations. Expanding into new locations meant recruiting new advisors who brought in new clients, and as a result, about a half of their revenue growth today comes from those expanded regions. Now, we're going to take you through a short demo of the solution. Now, unfortunately, this solution is much easier to show in real life, to actually go into a branch and show you the setup. So to give you a little bit of context, I'm going to walk you through a use case from Valiant, and then Felix, who's with me today, will take over and show you the agent view. So we'll show you the Unblu branch product and the view from the agent that is welcoming somebody. So one of the key use cases that Valiant wanted to keep was to give the opportunity for clients to withdraw cash without a credit card. So in this case, with an ID card. Standard situation, you forgot your wallet at home or you forgot your credit card somewhere, but you still need money. How can this be achieved? And this was a service that they were providing before in the old concept, and it's a service they wanted to maintain with the new concept. Now, the way it works today is that you have the design of the branch. Each branch is designed differently, so that's of course reflected into the platform. The client comes in, this is detected by the system. The agent is able to see that the client has come in, the video starts, the client can also see the agent, and the conversation, the greeting is done. The client is able to express their need, and then the agent can take action. Now, in this case, the client wants to withdraw money for her ID with her ID card, and she needs to be identified first. So this is a bit of a sensitive operation. So this is going to be done in a different area of the branch. So the agent is going to move the client to that location, and he is going to move himself as well to that location. the ID verification is performed. And when it is done, the agent can trigger a printer to issue a QR code. The client is then going to take that QR code, flash it at the ATM, and is going to be able to withdraw the money in question. So that is one of the use cases that they have. We can't cover all of them, but this is one of their use cases. And now Felix will take over and show you the other side, the agent side from the software itself.
Yeah, thanks for the intro here, Matthieu. I'll just need a sec to get the screen on my side. There we go. And what we're seeing here is exactly that agent view that Matthieu just alluded to, where we have one example floor plan of a branch with a couple of meeting rooms around here with our reception and an entry zone. And then we can look at exactly the case that we just talked about to see what might be happening. So we might have someone entering here, coming in, going up to the reception, and then either being detected or pressing a bell there to make themselves known and to essentially start interacting with the agent. And this might look a little something like this, where now the agent on their remote location gets that information that there is somebody new at this empfang, so at the reception in this branch. And I can go ahead as the agent and I can say, okay, I would like to show myself to the client. And as I do that, now we see that this icon switched here from green available to orange connected, meaning someone is talking through that. And then from there, I've got the ability to direct the customer through exactly the flow that Matthieu described before. So, okay, we established it's about getting some money out, and this might require something a bit more sensitive like an ID verification. So I can say, okay, please go to this room number 3, and remotely I can interact with the branch in a way where I can say, okay, please go to the room number 3. I'm going to buzz you open with that key icon, and that then opens the door so they can actually enter in the room. And as the client makes their way over to the other room, I can just use my my control panel here in that dashboard to go ahead and switch myself from the initial screen to the screen in the room. And then essentially, by the time that the client has walked over to the other room, I'm already there waiting for them. Now in that room, then I can go ahead and I can, for example, run through that video ident flow here, and I can use my ID to identify myself as the client and make sure that this is the right person who is going to get the money. And as the agent on the other side, you can see a couple more icons here, like this printer icon. This is where remotely, again, I would be controlling what gets printed out. So I can create the document with the QR code for the ATM and just access the printer in the room via this dashboard and then go ahead and print it. Or after that, if maybe the client has some more time, I can also go ahead and do things like sharing my own screen with some more information about a new product that the client might be interested in. Now, having talked a lot about the functionality here and how you can remotely manage the customer interaction and also remotely manage some of the peripheries in the branch, a couple of points to note. One of them is that with Unblu, you've got a choice whether you want to have sort of a all-in package where we do the hardware sourcing and of course the software, and we help you with the installation and all of that, and the installation in the actual branch. Or you can go ahead and say, well, actually, we've got a lot of screens and we've got webcams and we've got a lot of the periphery already, and we would like to stick to just the software on what we want to procure from Unblu, for example. So there's some flexibility there in terms of the products, hardware, and services that you would like, or that a client would like to get from us.
Indeed, and another topic. Sorry, Felix. Yeah. That was good to mention on the topic of flexibility, that the layout that you're seeing here is one branch. Each branches are different. They might have some components that others don't have. So this can all be structured into the platform so that you really reflect what each branch looks like and what each advisor, each agent is able to interact with.
Exactly. The periphery can be very individual, also based on whether you want to have a model with more or less people still left in the branch. And with that, I would say I can hand back over to Matthieu to wrap it off and finish up the webinar.
Yes, thank you, Felix. Very quickly, so this was one example of a customer that is live today. We are working as well with other organizations. We're working with Swiss Post in providing dedicated booths in their post offices so that clients can come in and discuss potential financial products and services. We're also working with Hyphensen Bank and also Swisscom in having those in-branch booths for very special advices. So there's a lot of different applications, and as we've seen with Valiant, the results are quite interesting, and it opens up as well a lot of possibilities in terms of rethinking the network, not only seeing the network as something that needs to shrink, but more on how you can build on technology to make the network profitable again, and actually think of the network as a lever towards future growth. With this, we still have 1 minute, and we can maybe take one question, and otherwise we'll follow up with any questions we can handle today. Okay, I'm seeing one here. Okay, so how was the solution received by employees? It's true. So we talked about clients. Clients were rather positive about the solution, and not only the young generation, the previous generations as well, as they were quite happy to keep the branch in their area. The employees were also quite positively reacted quite positively to the solution. Two elements came out from the employees. First of all, the flexibility of where they could work. So as you see here with Hyphensen Bank, employees are able to work from home. So they can receive people in the branches from home. So this creates a benefit for them. And the other benefit as well is that we've heard from agents is that it gives the call center agents, the people that were mobilized for those initiatives, it gives them an additional perspective. They're not only taking problems on the phone now, but they can also welcome clients. And in some organizations, they are authorized to perform some day-to-day actions, maybe talk about initiating product conversations that is then handed on to another person. But it provides a more interesting role for agents and a path to grow as well. So these are the 2 points that we've had positive feedback from. And I think with that, we will close this coffee with Unblu. So thank you everybody for attending, and please watch out for the next session. We're looking forward. Thank you.